Hey, what's up, everybody? I am Katrina, whichever way you want to spin it. And this is something different, something new, as I told you guys I'm going to be doing from now on. And I am joined by one of my homegirlies, Haven.
Hi. Yep.
How are you today? How's it going?
I'm good. I am tired. It was a busy day yesterday, slightly busy today, but we're here. And that's what's
Yeah,
important. We are
yeah
here.
I definitely on you. I feel like this week I'm like, oh, this is a busy week. I didn't realize.
Mhm.
So I get that. But guys, we or whatever way you guys want to be called, I said guys again, but whatever works for y'all. We are going to be reading some Reddit stories and giving you guys our reactions because Reddit is a place. It's
Reddit is a town. It's a town. It's a terrible town on the internet.
it's definitely a place. And things get a little bit crazy on there. I read some stuff and I was like, let's see how this goes. So let me pull up the first story. So this one is again, am I an asshole? And so this is I'm gonna read it. So the title is I am sitting in the back of my RV as my husband rants about how lovely the trip would be if I hadn't joined him.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's already
again,
nuts.
yeah, absolutely insane. So this is an old story, but I saw it today. It popped up, and I was like, all right, this is actually pretty crazy.
That's
So
really
the
crazy.
woman says, this might be confusing, but I will try my best to be clear. I am typing this on my tablet, so please forgive me for any spelling or grammar mistakes. She said, this is the first time that an issue like this has come up in our marriage, and I don't know what to do. So she says, I have been writing romance novels since I was in college. I was a relatively successful author, and I've made a living off selling my novels ever since. I do not make a lot of money, but I do bring home at least 40,000 a year in book sales. It's pretty good in my
Okay.
opinion.
Yeah.
This allows me to stay at home during the day so I can write and also make crafts to sell in my Etsy shop. So a few years after college, I met Tim, who I'm guessing is her husband, and we instantly hit it off. We dated for 3 years before tying the knot, and we bought a house shortly after. Tim makes his living off of investments and stocks. However, we keep our finances separate, which I
Mhm.
believe 100% smart.
Yes.
Um, this is because Tim inherited a vast amount of money from his family before we married. So I signed a prenup agreement in order to ease his mind. We both contribute to equal share of the joint bank accounts for bills. Then we use the remainder of our money for ourselves.
Okay.
So so far,
It's
so
not bad. It's not bad.
about a year ago, I landed a contract to write part of a romance series, and the contract was huge, and the payout was over 120,000 for a few
Ooh.
months' work. So she said she contributed her share to a joint account and then put the rest in the money in the bank to buy an RV.
Mhm.
I've always wanted an RV because I love to travel, and nothing will make me happier than be able to write while on the road. Tim is often away on business for days at a time, so the RV will give me an opportunity to get out of the house while he's away. After 6 months of deciding, I chose a lightly used RV and purchased it from the owners for a great price. When Tim found out I purchased the RV, he was excited. He was a travel trailer, but it's not the same as an all in one RV. He loves RVs and always wanted to immediately take it out for a trip across the state. We took our trip, and Tim couldn't stop talking about how much he enjoyed the experience, and he started talking about taking more trips together. I gently reminded him that even though the RV is a fun thing for us to use for vacation, that its main purpose is for me to have something to do while he's away for business, but
Mhm.
that they could take plenty of trips together. Tim agreed and let it go for a while. So, in the past few weeks, Tim has been badgering me about taking the RV with him on his business trip. He usually flies when he goes to check in his rental properties, visit family, and he's normally gone 4 to 5 days at a time. We got into an argument because he had to evict a tenant and wanted to drive the RV across the state in order to do so. I asked him if I could come along, and Tim said he would prefer if I didn't. I then said that if I couldn't come with him, then he couldn't take my RV.
Right.
I, I suggested that he take his travel trailer instead, and he got mad and stormed out of the house. About an hour later, he started texting me like nothing had happened, and then said he would be taking the RV as if our previous conversation had never happened. I called him and
Wow.
tried to explain that he just purchased a brand new pickup and that if he didn't get to drive his new truck, if she didn't get to drive his new truck in his absence, why should he take the RV when she's not coming on the trip?
Right.
So Tim and I went back and forth, and eventually he said I'd come along if it meant that much to me. I said I would, and now I'm regretting everything. I am sitting in the back of my own RV with a man who won't let me touch the wheel. It has been 3 days since this trip has started, and all Tim has done is rant about how awesome the RV trip would be if I weren't with him. He has made me question everything in our marriage, from how we split our finances to how we argue and function together. This is the first time that anything like this ever happened, and I don't know what to do in this situation. He is still ranting as I type this, and he's never done that either. So apparently, there's an update. But before we get to the update, what are your what are
Yo,
your initial thoughts about this? Because that is fault.
first of all, if she bought it for when he's away on trips, why does he think he's gonna take it for his trips? And she can't drive his new car. And then you're mad at me for telling you no because this is exactly what, like, this is not what I have this for. It's not for you, it's for me when
Yeah,
you're away. And then if it means that much to you, can come. First of all, I'm like, I'm not coming and you're not taking my shit. That's it. It's no question. And if I want to come and I'm going to hop in that car with you, no, because now I'm mad at you. That's crazy. That's crazy. And then you're going to, bro, first of all, she said he's ranting about how much it would be fun without her.
yeah.
As she's typing this. Nah, that's bold. I think we would not have been married after that.
Yeah, no, men have audacity. Like, to
That's the
be
one
that
thing they
crazy
definitely
to be
have.
on my RV that she won't let me touch, which is dumb. But to be on my RV and then you talk about it'd be better if I'm not here. All right, so how about you not be here? Because see, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to open the door and you can be in the woods somewhere, whatever they were at,
Right.
and I'm gonna drive my RV. You're not like no, like it's wild.
I'm like, you
Like,
can go, you can get out right now. You know, you'll be on a trip by yourself. I'll be here with my RV and I'm gonna keep going. Like, that's insane to me.
like
No.
the level, and she said that they never had a problem like this, but I'm gonna have to beg to differ. I find that very hard to believe. I feel like there might have been something. It might not have been something she noticed right away. It might not have been something that was like out blatant as this is,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no way he just completely went to a whole like this is mine and
Right.
not yours. Like I feel like there had to be other little things he might have done that kind of alluded this is how he is.
Yeah, things she probably just let go and didn't find it that serious. But this was the one thing she was like, no, because this is mine.
Yeah.
No, no. I would love to hear this update.
So yeah, there's an update. So she, I guess some time has passed when she first wrote this, but she said she promised to update, but things got very hectic, and this is the first chance she got. So she said, this whole situation makes me very emotional, so please forgive me if this post is not as coherent as I would like it to be.
Mhm.
When I posted my first post, we were on the road in the RV, and my husband was giving me the cold shoulder when he bitched at me from the driver's seat. Couldn't be me. You had all this great advice for what I should do, and I listened to a few people who suggested that he might be cheating on me.
Mm.
So Tim has left his iPad in the back of the RV to charge while he drove. I'm not proud of this, but I was able to sneak his iPad into the bedroom while he was distracted by the road. He was logged into his email account, and I quickly skimmed over his inbox but didn't find anything suspicious. I then had the idea to check his sent folder and found out that he's been chatting up his ex from college.
Mm.
It made me sick to my stomach to read the messages, but luckily they had not yet been physical. Translated, the message he sent his ex was basically, I can't wait to get my hands on you. It's been years since I felt that mouth. I'm excited.
Wow. Wow.
Um, I was,
Damn.
yeah, that's crazy. I was disgusted but tried to keep calm. We were on the road headed to another state and we planned on stopping at his mother's house. I knew that if his
Ooh.
messages I knew that if his messages were in the sent folder, that meant he had deleted them.
Mm-hmm.
So Tim was basically planning not to get caught and trying to hide his tracks. He wanted my RV so he can take his ex around the state and have fun without leaving a credit card trace. I took photos of the emails and sent them to myself in order to preserve the evidence. I
Ooh,
then went
she's
back to the
smart.
that's my vibe. I'm good for photographic evidence and receipts.
I
Great.
think all
I'm
the
good for
smart
that.
ones have been there.
Okay. Um, I then went back to the front of the RV and acted as if everything was fine. I apologized. Don't worry, I lied for how I had acted and suggested that we ask his mom to help us work through this. Tim said that he was also sorry and that he accepted my apology. He said he was looking forward to using the RV in the future and that he was glad I had come to see reason. I smiled and
Right.
nodded, but on the inside, I was cursing his existence, as you should, sis,
Mm-hmm.
as you should.
Mm-hmm.
So we made it to his mom's house, and I made up an excuse about having to change because my clothes were wrinkled. Tim went inside without me, and I started throwing all of his clothes and belongings into a trash bag. I then went back inside the house, and Tim was sitting with his mom in the kitchen. He asked me what was I doing with the bag, and I told him I was giving him his clothes so that I could leave. Tim Tim then got angry and asked me what the F was I doing, and his mom was simply confused. She asked me what was going on, and I told her I'm not sure myself. I'm waiting for Tim to explain why he was planning to cheat on me with his ex.
Mm.
Tim's mom then started to cry and yell at Tim while he tried to calm her down. I know Reddit does not have a lot of love for religion, but Tim's mother is a fundamentalist. She had loved me from the minute Tim introduced me to her and would be understatement to say that she was upset with her adulterous son.
Oh.
Tim never even tried to apologize to me. Instead, he chased after his mother, saying he was sorry to his mom. This made her cry
Wow.
harder because she knew that he wasn't even trying to make amends with me. He was just
Mm-hmm.
apologizing to her. She hugged me and told me to just go home and she will handle her son. I thanked her and took the RV keys from Tim. This ended up in a minor wrestling match and left. I drove
Wow.
him home crying, but at least I got rid of my asshole ex-husband.
Yeah.
Tim called me the next day and begged me to come home. He said it was all a mistake, that he was sorry. I asked him why didn't he apologize at his mother's house. Why didn't he say he was sorry when I handed him his bag? I told him that he didn't care about cheating on me, that he cared about how bad it made him look to his family.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to explain himself, but I cut him off and hung up. I blocked him on all social media and haven't heard anything since. And apparently there was another update that they did divorce. And the
Okay.
lawyers was able to basically not consider the prenup because they was able to, I guess, decide how to do it outside of court, so it didn't
Mm-hmm.
need to go messy. But
Okay.
I guess that makes some more sense now. I guess
Yeah.
why he was really trying so hard to get the RV was because like the audacity to take my RV to
To
go.
cheat. Like you're gonna take her RV to cheat on her. And you're mad at her for messing up your plans. Like what? No. I'm so glad she didn't take him back. Because what do you mean it was all a misunderstanding? What do you mean it was a mistake? When you didn't even apologize to me, when you had the chance, you apologized to your mom. His mom was more sorry than he was. Come on. That's
Yeah,
nuts.
she basically said his mother basically like almost disowned him basically because she said apparently his dad cheated on his mother and she took that really
Mm,
personal. So it was like she was like basically your son did what the dad did.
right.
But that's insane. This is one of those things that men really have a lot of audacity sometimes. Like
Yeah. That's excuse me. That's insane because and then she's saying they never had an issue like that, which means the marriage was probably fine up until he decided to cheat. And the
yes.
fact that he's getting mad at her because she's ruining his plan to cheat.
Yep.
And he clearly wasn't sorry about it. So it's like, damn, like I said, I'm glad she left and divorced him because he didn't have any remorse. He didn't care. He was mad at you for fumbling his plans. And then he told you that the entire 3 days y'all was on the road. Like, how do you have the audacity? Like, I'm thinking about myself. If I was to be a piece of shit like that and my plans was ruined, I'm not gonna then make you feel bad about it, knowing I was about to do you wrong. Like, what kind of to me stuff like that is so evil.
Yeah.
Like that is so evil. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. I feel like that's probably the thing will keep me not being married ever again. Honestly.
It's scary.
Because it's like people already suck, but like to be with somebody that long, I felt like a part of it might have been jealousy too. Because like my guy, if you wanted an RV, well maybe save up for it. You guys
Right.
basically split things evenly. Like you didn't take care of her in any capacity, which would have made you not have money, I guess, whatever. Like
Right.
if you both split bills 50-50, you had your own money, then save up for an RV. Why do you buy a pickup truck? if you wanted an RV. I don't understand. Then go, and then to say you want to use the RV to drive across state lines, like, my guy, this is not a moving service.
You
Like,
know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna put all the miles in my shit. Like, are you crazy? Especially when she got it for when he was away. So you're gonna take the thing that I want when you're away. Like, what do you mean? It's just, yo, that's so insane, bro.
yeah, no, it's
To me,
crazy.
that's like a level. That's almost a level 10. I'm gonna say that's like a 9. That's like a 9.5 because it was a lot going on. I'm glad the mother-in-law wasn't like an asshole.
As somebody who's had the crazy mother-in-law,
Oh man. You know,
yeah,
nah, I gotta take it down. Maybe it's like a 7.5 because I know they can get worse. That's like a 7.5 right now.
yeah, no, I definitely, yeah, that's insane. I just, this just tells you how, like, the audacity that men have, because, like, you mad that you couldn't cheat the way you wanted to cheat, and he thought he was probably being slick too, like, oh, if I use her RV, she would never see me. We're in a hotel, so you plan on being in there in her RV, on her bed, in the bed sheets, doing all types of stuff with your ex, and I'm like,
It's so disrespectful.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
I am glad she got divorced, honestly.
I'm glad she went on Reddit because they told her he's probably cheating. She probably didn't even think of that.
Which I see, maybe this is me being a little bit just skeptical people, but I probably would have thought that, honestly. Like, not right away, but like after a while, I'm like, why are you so adamant about this? That I would have probably like, are you? Because, like, why are you doing a little too much? Like, he was so like upset about, like, talking about she can't touch her. Imagine you tell me I can't touch the wheel of something I paid for with my money. Like,
there's no way. There's no way.
Like, and you know how hard it is to get, like, that level of a book deal as somebody who writes, like, romance. That's not easy to always do. And while the romance genre is one of the top genres, it's probably one of the highest selling genres, it's still like, because it's so saturated that, you know, almost anybody, if they wanted to write a romance book, can write one.
Wow.
To get a book deal like that, a contract for that amount of money, and you're still making the amount of money that you could stay home, like, you're making 40 G's, like,
yeah,
being home
she's
and
doing
writing
pretty
a few
well.
times. That's pretty freaking cool. Like, like, you don't even need that, girly. Like,
She
you
can
could do
do
better.
much better.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad people helped her out on that one, because, like,
definitely,
that's crazy. Like
that was
yes,
too much for me.
yeah, that's crazy. I just feel it's audacity.
Yeah, the audacity was high. It was definitely high on that one.
Just pure audacity. So let's, I guess, get to, like, this other one, which I, like, read a little bit of it earlier, and I was like, my guy, like,
Oh gosh.
so this lady asked the question: am I the asshole for reading romance novels despite it making my boyfriend uncomfortable?
Okay.
So she goes, I'm a 29 huge lover, 29 female, a huge lover of romance novels. Doesn't matter how bad or trashy they are, just fun to just veg out to, as they require very little focus. I do enjoy more nuanced books too, but they require more focus, and I don't always have the energy for that. I'm currently been binging all of Susan Trembley's I Do Know. 10/10 would recommend if you like fantasy, sci-fi, romance. My boyfriend, 30, has never liked me reading these kinds of books, and now 2 years of dating, as they make him uncomfortable. She put that in quotes. So I stopped reading them around him. I figure while not every book in this genre is pornographic, a fair few are, so that's why likely he was uncomfortable, so I didn't push further. We are discussing moving in together, and he has told me that he doesn't want my books on the bookshelves, as it's embarrassing to have them out in the open like that.
What?
I told him if he prefer, I'll keep them on a bookshelf that isn't in the living room of the house where guests could not see it. But nope, turns out he didn't want them on a bookshelf at all. Man, you fucking weirdo. I ended up asking what the F his issue was and told him they were harmless. He has told me I make him feel uncomfortable by enjoying these kinds of books as they seem low intelligence, and that I also make him feel less like he's not enough. I told him that he was of course enough and pointed out about him watching porn doesn't mean I am not enough for him, does it? But he refused to see the similarity. So I always figured it was harmless to read these kind of books. I don't get why it makes him so uncomfortable. Maybe I'm the asshole for still reading them despite knowing he feels this way. Girl.
My gosh.
Girl.
This, that was the end of the story? This is what I don't understand. There's so many women who question themselves when it is so clear that they are not the asshole. And I'm like, what is it? Is it like in their day-to-day life, the person that they're with just constantly makes them feel like, oh, you're overreacting. You know what I'm saying? Because I was gonna say, if he doesn't watch porn, right? And if he doesn't partake in any type of thing like that, then I understand. But that's not even the case. So he watches porn and he thinks it's not the same. What he's doing is actually worse.
It is
Because
worse.
he's literally watching it happen with real people where she's reading something using her imagination to visualize. But she's wrong. Low intelligence. Maybe it's low intelligence to watch porn. Did he read the studies? What it does to men? Oh, probably not. Like, no. I hope she left him. I'd have left him.
Yeah, I don't see an update. I hope she did. Cause like, girl, like first of all, yes. As somebody who writes them, yes, there are some books that's literally what it's there for. It's supposed to be trashy. It's supposed to be, and these are words they use. It's supposed to just be there for there. It's nothing like important. And then you have the romance writers who put a lot of effort into it, and it's like there's obviously the romance. There's obviously some who write like sex type stuff, but there's an actual story. I know quite a few, and even with the ones I write, I usually have a story. There's no like just random stuff, and so like to take effort. Sometimes you have to like the subject matter in some of these books are like, goddamn, make you feel something for these people because it feels sad or whatever the case may be. And so to sit there and complain, first of all, the bookshelf thing. Now I have a bookshelves in my house, and I just want to know what kind of bookshelf is he thinking of where people will know it's romance books. If you have a bookshelf where it shows the the spine of the book,
Right.
9 times out of 10, you're not gonna tell what kind of cover it is
That's true.
on the spine,
And
unless
it's
you're having
probably
a book.
the book is probably not called Sex on a Balcony. You know what I'm saying? Like it's probably something nice, like a nice,
Like
beautiful
yes,
title.
sometimes there are the titles that's just meant that's what it is, but a lot of times it's not. And so unless it's like most times you can't really tell what kind of book it is on the spine, and if it is, it's usually those main like books where people really are making some money. And even then, it's like maybe a couple, and it's not like anything crazy. Like maybe the guy has his shirt off, but if you in social media and in social media day and age, you're gonna see some man with a shirt off. I feel like it's not a big deal. Athletes, if you watch basketball or football and whatever, they at
Wrestling.
some point a shirt is off. And so that's not really like a big deal because he's on the book cover if his shirt is off on the book cover. He was like, see, the level of laughing I would have did after that. Because then I would have seen me being me as a person, I would have violated after that. I'm like, as soon as you made me feel like you feel less than, you mean because you're an asshole for real, and that's why you feel less than because maybe the man in the book she reading just being a little bit better.
Probably a lot of bit better.
Like I've heard men actually say that they hate that women like have these expectations. I was like, what y'all don't understand is men are usually written a lot better, and not that there's not the books where the man's been alpha and mad extra mad annoying because there's quite a few. I
They're
always
out
make
there.
sure Christian Grey would have got the tops called on him personally.
Wait, side note, do you know that Charlie Hunnam was supposed to be Christian Grey?
I do.
Yo,
I do.
Why did we not get that? Yo, I would have loved the movie.
Apparently he wanted to do a movie, and the movie didn't even do well. So I was like, my guy, you went to do this other movie that didn't do well, and you could have been the first Christian. And honestly, I actually could see like if he shaved his facial hair, I can see him being Christian because I did read the books. So like,
I would have loved it.
But yes, I was aware. I was. But like somebody like him, I would call cops. Yeah. Imagine you get my bank account. Why do you have my bank information? Like those little things? No.
He was on a lot.
Like some of them people and although people know that like 50 Shades was like an adult version, it's supposed to be like it was inspired by Twilight, which I don't know if
Yeah.
everybody knows that. And so like
So many things was inspired by Twilight. I'm
and
like,
the
what?
thing was, I'm like, first of all, if Edward did half the shit he did, we know. Get him, like, stop playing with me. Nobody watch me, and I sleep very light. And so I'm like, if you watch me sleep, now I'm looking at you sideways because not only did you disturb the little sleep that I get,
Right.
why are you watching me at like 2 a.m.? Like, what are we doing? And so there's those type of men in books that no, that's dumb. I cannot. Like, there's no level of disbelief I can suspend in this because I'm like, no. My first response is, why?
That's the
Why?
best question. Like, why?
But other times the men are written well enough that I'm like, is this why you guys are upset? Because they like have decent jobs and they're being
Right.
nice and they're like going on dates and paying for dates and they're letting her get there first and not you get there and she's watching you sadly from the corner. Like, is that why? Um,
Watching sadly from the corner is hilarious.
and maybe that felt a little personal, but my point making simply is that why?
But
You
that's what it
upset?
is because
Like,
the men in the stories are better than they are, and they don't want to change to be like those men. They feel like they should be enough as they are. They be doing the bare minimum.
bear.
Bare
Bear.
minimum out here, so they're threatened. Like, oh, maybe the women will wake up and think, oh no, he's not doing enough.
Like
It's
I feel
happening.
like most women, yeah, and see this because you said that. I
It's
just saw this on
happening.
Twitter like a few days ago, I think, when a man was like, "Oh, you know, women like they want to be single and alone." I'm like, or maybe they realize you guys are really not the price. Like
Right.
you kind of in like you grow up, at least in our time, and obviously way before our time, like older women, you had this. Your goal is to be married, and your goal is to
Mm-hmm.
be a good wife, and the husbands weren't good husbands. And maybe they might have paid some bills, maybe.
She said maybe.
Because sometimes they didn't do all that. Like, but then they had either a second family or third family. They were cheating
Hmm.
or abusive, and so now that women got their own money, or there are ways to handle certain things if you really want to, or they
Mm-hmm.
feeling like, oh, if I just stick with a person and move on about my life like men been doing this whole time. Now,
Right.
oh, we messing up the family dynamic, which was what I think I left about for like 15 minutes. I was like, the family dynamic, are we
The
playing?
family dynamic.
I
You
know.
know who's messing up the family dynamic? People like, and no offense to Nick Cannon, but Nick Cannon, you have
No,
dozens,
all offense,
you
all
have
offense.
dozens of children. I mean, I'm trying to be nice, but like he has so many children, and he how does he think he's gonna give them all time? He can't possibly give them all time, especially doing what he does for work. So you think
Okay,
just because you
they're
take
not
care
the
of them
same. Maybe if
financially?
they were by the same person, or maybe
Yeah.
two people only,
Mm-hmm.
maybe because at least it's the same person. But he just had him with like mad women, and it's like, my God,
Yeah.
they
I
don't
know.
even
I
all
know it's
like
more
each
than three
other.
women.
It definitely is. I think it might be like outside of Mariah. I think it might be like four others, maybe.
That's nuts. And they all probably don't live in the same state. They're all different ages. So do you really say, hey, I'm gonna get all my kids together, what, once a week? I doubt it. I just doubt it. Stuff like that is messing up the family dynamic. Or people who are like, oh, I told her not to keep the baby, so it's on her. Or how about not sleep with women unprotected that you don't want to have children with?
Ding
That's
ding.
that's it's very possible. It's a theory, but I don't
Yeah, that
know.
stuff is. And we're both moms, and so like, shit happens, and you can sometimes shit happens, and we get that. But like a lot of you guys, a lot of male specimens, and I'm sure that's gonna offend somebody.
Male specimens.
A lot of them don't put any stock of doing their part. So like either you don't, oh, I don't use condoms, they don't fit well. Like half you guys, I don't know what penises you guys think you have,
Yo,
but
that's
it's not what y'all think it.
funny.
It's not like the level of y'all like, oh, it don't fit. Does it not really?
I think that's just an excuse because,
I
like you
I do.
said, how many of y'all out there really walking around with that thing on you? Like,
Right?
y'all not out here like that. Like, sorry to burst your bubble. You're not out here like that. They're not.
It's either that or like, oh, I can't feel anything. And I'm like, do you know how many types of which condoms they make now that there's no excuse for that? They make so many types now that it's like you can basically feel everything. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Or it's like, well, get a vasectomy. Well, that's a lot. It's easier for you to get one than this for women to get their tubes tied.
Exactly.
So like, and you guys
Exactly.
couldn't do male birth control. The trials they used, the men did not like it. I'm like, oh, you mean what women who take
all
birth control
the
didn't do?
symptoms they gave you?
Tough, right? Like, so yeah, I mean, yeah, the fact that he was watching porn, and that's always the thing when men who watch that. I mean, yes, there's the women who's like, yeah, it's fine. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It does put an unrealistic expectation when you
Yeah,
have
especially it depends on what they're watching, and
and
I
if it's that
suspect.
stuff, I'm like, first of all, realistically, half the scenarios in those, who does this? Like,
I
you're not
was
gonna.
thinking that, like, he's talking
What
about the book.
random woman is gonna pop in like she's a teacher? All of a sudden, everything's off. Or like the ones where it's like it's a man who's like the firefighter next to it. She's just like, oh, firefighter, here you go. It's like, I'm like, I don't know the firefighters y'all see, but the ones I saw in New York City,
it's not like that.
Not at
Wait,
all.
there was one hot firefighter that I seen. Listen, this was years ago, right? I used to work at a grocery store, and he used to come in there in the outfit, and I would be like, I'm like, yo, that man, do y'all see him? Yo, he was beautiful. He was super beautiful. Only seen one though.
See, you got lucky. I saw none. Every time I've seen that like firefighter calendar, I'm like, where are they?
Where are the hot men?
Because I'm just like, if you're gonna have these calendars, well, where is this group of men? So I can just be aware, you know. But I never see them, and so I just feel like the scenario is always over the top. And then I'm like, half you guys wish you guys could last this long. And again, maybe if you do, good for you if you can. But like,
sipping some tea,
just from just from my experience, that was not always the case. You know, it was not always the case where they lasted long enough for all of the stuff that happens in those movies. And so like,
and that's the thing, like, how can he be mad at her reading books that are trashy when he's watching porn? Nothing in I've never seen a porn that was a classy movie. Like you said, the scenarios are always pretty outlandish. It's like, what is he's just trying to shame her.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's because he knows what porn does for him. And maybe he felt like he didn't want his woman to experience that same thing with her books or whatever. But it's like, why can't things be fair?
Yeah,
why can't things be fair?
When 50 Shades came out, people thought women were going to need like the covers with like the seats with covers. And I was like, what do you think women are doing? Like, do you think we just go outside, take a book, and have a good time on a random public? I was like, I'm sorry. I have been flashed outside by somebody. I didn't want to see all that shit. And
that's a very disgusting thing to witness.
Yeah, unfortunately. Like, and it wasn't just like me necessarily. I was on the train and like he just like pulled it out while the train stopped at the station. And so everybody saw it that was in that cart. And I was just like, nobody asked for that. I didn't want to see that. And so I was like, what do you think we're doing? You think we take books and we're like, oh, yay, let's have, like, no, nobody does that.
Even but if this is probably what they're doing. So they think women are doing the same.
I was like, I've never seen, like, if somebody knows somebody who did that, let me know who they are, please.
I want to stay away from that girl. Like, no.
Bro, what's happening? I've never seen it. And like, I think people confuse also romance novels for erotica novels, which are very different. And
they are very different. Realize
as somebody who's written both, I don't know if I can sustain doing erotic novels all the time because you have to literally be kind of like, and I'm like, I write it, but I don't write this much of it. Like, that's a lot. And so, like, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you guys thinking. And the fact that you're sitting here watching somebody who you could probably find somewhere, like somebody you can probably Google and find about something about them, you can't do that with somebody who technically does not exist. It's fictional.
Right, like it's just a story. It's not real. Oh man, that's crazy. He tried it.
I hope tried it. Him. I do hope. There's no update. I hope she left him and found a man who was okay with her books on the bookshelf. Like, right.
No, find a man who reads them with her, you know, like join in, like, come on. Like, and I feel like sometimes the men, they don't even be there for the women in their hobbies. Like, imagine if, I'm just saying, imagine if he was like, you know what, we're going to curl up on the couch and you could read it for me. You know what I mean? She probably would have loved that. But no, he wanted to be offended. So sad.
Yeah, that hit the whole men not being for the women's hobbies. That hit so close. Cause I'm like, listen, that was like
Hmm.
always the issue with people. Like, I'm sitting here learning about basketball so I can watch it with somebody. I'm sitting here learning about this, so asking questions so I can be part of that with you. And it is
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, you want to look at this? Yeah, no, I don't really want to. I don't need to do that. You got other people to do that for you. You got other people
Wow.
to read this. You got other people to watch this. And I'm like, oh, all right. Like, and so I definitely, I agree. That definitely, she probably actually probably would have been a lot more happy. Like, as they say, the more you get them there, the more freakier person. She probably would have been all types of
Uh-huh.
down for stuff just off
Right.
that alone because that's a sweet thing. I think that's a nice
It
thing. And I think people
is.
realize that, like, how easy it is for us to be like, oh,
It's the
you
simple
lost
things.
and it's always simple things. And not to say there's not the women who obviously need more or whatever, and that's
Right,
power
right.
to them. But like,
A lot of times it's simple things, but they don't even want to do that.
oh man, that was crazy. That was absolutely crazy. I'm hoping. Okay, well, so this is gonna be our last one, which is a little bit
Okay.
different because I think it's more of a family thing rather than
Okay,
a
okay.
relationship. And so this I again only read very little just to see if it was something we would be cool. So this one is, am I the asshole for not wanting to have a relationship with my older brother and not give my mom her dying wish?
Whoa. This is heavy.
Okay, so I, 24, female, have a complicated and strained relationship with my mom, 48, and essentially no relationship with my older brother, who's 29. On top of that, I had substantial trauma history, largely thanks to my older brother. Let's call him Richard.
Hmm.
Before getting into the question at hand, here are some things that are important to know about my mom. My mom has narcissistic characteristics. She's emotionally immature and was emotionally abusive to me as a child.
Yikes.
For my trauma history and some background on my older brother, some of this will also include info and background on my mom. As a small child, I had an abusive, both physical and sexual abuse. Oh man, occurred
Wow.
with a babysitter a couple of years older than Richard. They were close in age that they considered themselves friends. Despite my best efforts to describe to my parents how terrible my babysitter was, being so young, I was unable to effectively communicate to them I was being abused. It also didn't help that Richard would deny that the babysitter had ever done anything to hurt me. I suffered this abuse for years before my parents eventually caught my babysitter in the act. Jesus Christ.
Mm.
Um, Fast forward some time and years of Richard torturing me via threats of physical harm, lying to my parents to get me in trouble for things he did, more than what's a normal sibling dynamic. Being choked or strangled to the points of the edges of my vision turning black, being slammed into
What?
doors to the point of Richard breaking our pantry door, and chased and shot with metal BBs, sometimes at point blank range. I was 12 and didn't realize at the time that Richard was essentially grooming me to please one of his friends. There's a 5 year gap between us, so she said, remember that.
Wow.
Richard would say things like, this friend, thinks you're really attractive. It'll be nice for you to hang out with him. Or he thinks you're really attractive. It'll be nice if you let him touch you, kiss you, make out with you, etc. He has
Mm-mm.
even left me alone with this friend to make a move on me. This occurred for a few months until one day Richard's friend sexually assaulted me. Richard was in the room when it happened. He wasn't watching, rather, he was being inattentive enough to claim he didn't know what was going on, despite my literal screaming and crying for help. When it was over and I asked Richard why he didn't help, he told me I had gotten what I deserved.
What the hell
Shortly
is
after,
this story?
this is crazy. Shortly after my parents found out what happened, my mom told me that the experience wasn't that bad because it wasn't a full on rape. Girl, let's see,
What?
see. Okay,
Huh.
yeah, this is
This is
crazy.
pissing me off.
Yeah, um, fast forward to more recently, after years of not speaking to Richard, of him not even reaching out when I graduated high school, got accepted to and graduated from undergrad, got accepted into grad school, when I got engaged, and when I got married, he suddenly now wants to make things right. Did he tell me this? Nope. What he instead got mom to do the dirty work and bring the idea up to me first because he texted me and told me he wanted to talk to me. My mom currently has a plethora of medical issues, including heart problems. She regularly holds these things over my head as a way to get me to reach out to my brother. She started off by saying I should do it for me so I can forgive Richard and move on. For the record, I have forgiven him, but I also don't believe that forgiveness is something that has to be given in order to move on for something, which I agree.
That's facts.
Additionally, just because I forgive him doesn't mean I have to have a relationship with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, my mom tune quickly switched from do it for yourself to do it for her and her well-being. Some of the things she has said included do it for your mother's heart. I will hate to die and you two still not have a relationship. I hope you get to a point where you're ready to talk to him before I die. Hence why I call this her dying wish. Um,
Huh.
Richard has done the song and dance of I changed, but it always ends the same. He gets what he wants at the time or at the end of the relationship, and then he's back to the same old shit. Every time he's been let back into my life, it ends with disappointment. And now, after he's been out of for so long, I am content with it being that way. Ultimately, I am willing to have this talk with Richard if he really wants closure, but I'm in a place where I don't think I want to maintain a relationship with him even after the air is clear, at least not right now.
Mm.
So I asked, am I the asshole for not wanting to have a relationship with my older brother and not giving my mom her dying wish? No.
No, no,
No.
it's so simple. You could have stopped the story halfway through, and I'd have just been like, no, because I don't understand people who go through shit like this. How are you even wondering if you're the ass?
Yeah.
I don't give a damn what is going on with her mom. Her mom was a piece of shit to her. Her brother was an even bigger piece of shit. What
Yeah.
do you mean you want me to talk to him? No. Literal physical and sexual abuse, and you want me to be cool with this kid? Like, no. No, she's I'm gonna shut up, but
No, that's I feel sorry for her. It's an anonymous post, so I don't know who it is, but
that's a bad fucking deal she had, man.
that's unfortunate.
Excuse my
That's
language.
like her brother. No, you that's for this story. I Jesus, like that's a lot. That is
That is a
definitely a
lot.
lot. And the fact that she still went to undergrad school, went to grad school, got married, and pretty
Mm,
much basically got some semblance of a life that she wanted.
right,
After all of that, kudos to her.
for
Kudos.
sure.
I just no fuck all of that. Her brother can like the level of like rage. I had like pause when I was reading that.
Very understandable.
Yeah, that's insane. I don't understand how not only are you like the fact that if my kid tells me the babysitter's doing something, you don't need to tell me multiple times.
That's what I'm saying.
Why do we need this multiple? Why do you have to catch it to happen when you was trying to explain? If you was a child, of course you couldn't explain it the right way. You're a child
Mm-hmm.
and you're not going to understand all of that. Sometimes it's hard for adults to explain what happened in situations like that.
Right.
So why do you have to catch them in the act and then you catch her this babysitter doing this to her and then your response is then maybe fire her but not really press charges? So I would press charges. The
Yeah.
person went under the jail when I was done. Um Richard and whoever this friend is, I hope like that's when you deserve to have your stuff cut right off.
Yep.
Like the Lorena Bobbitt,
Slowly.
that's what she knew. That's the vibes. You need to have it Lorena Bobbitt off, and then maybe you'll learn. Like I just feel like why her brother, fuck him. I don't care if his her mom is dying or not. It's not about. I'm sorry. I don't like that guilt stuff. You're
No.
not gonna
And,
guilt
and
me.
and this is the thing. This is what I be saying. People be evil because how do you do that to your sister? And then you as a mom, how do you say it wasn't that bad because it wasn't full on? Like any unwanted sexual anything is a problem. I don't care if you graze my lower back. If it's unwanted, that's a problem.
Yep. And I don't even know what full on meant because there was no situation where she was trying to talk to this guy. He did something while the brother was right there. And so
Right.
is that the reason why you thought it wasn't a big deal? Because your brother was there? He probably bullshitted clearly about what happened. And if you were like 12 or whatever, you like, come on. Like,
The brother
I'm surprised she
is
didn't talk to the mom after this, honestly, because it wouldn't be me.
that's what I'm saying. Something's wrong with the brother because how do you allow that to happen while you're in the room? Like, you know, I wouldn't even want to kiss my boyfriend in front of my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
making out in front of a family member is weird to me. So it's like the brother was okay with his friend doing sexual things to his sister and then she deserved it. Like, what does that mean? Like, you're an evil person.
Yeah.
Like these, oh, like you
Yeah.
said, Lorena
Yeah.
Bobbitt,
That's always like, oh,
because
you would be that kind of person. All right. So you clearly don't value that. That's what that tells me. I hope she's healed. I think there is a small update. Um, yeah, she did say that I guess somebody asked about her dad,
mm,
and she said her dad actually didn't know. She hid
wow.
it pretty well, and when he found out, he was actually really upset.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was actually really upset about I guess the response from his the mom. And I think she has another brother, which I don't think she really mentioned that previously. Um yeah, she said she didn't blame them about the babysitter thing, but I do. I'm sorry, like she wasn't
Yeah,
able to communicate it, but that's what you as a parent supposed to be able to understand your kid, know your kid.
that's what I'm saying.
And she did say she was going to reach out to her brother, but just to kind of clear the air, but that's it. And then she's doesn't want to have any like relationship. There's just kind of the like let whatever and be done. And
Mm-hmm.
good for her. But no, she's definitely not the asshole. He is.
No.
Her mother definitely is one. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care if she's dying or whatever's going on with her. Well, maybe be a better person, and you won't be dealing with this. I'm
Right.
actually surprised the mom's not. Like she's not in a nursing home by herself because like that was where you would be if you was my mom.
Pretty
Listen,
much. Pretty
I'm not.
much.
I'm not taking your shit.
I
Like,
don't understand why people think just because now something's wrong with them that all should be forgiven. Absolutely not. That does not wipe the slate clean, bro. Like I don't understand. And it is a guilt thing because people start feeling bad, like, oh well, I don't care. I
yeah,
do not care. If you couldn't apologize to me all these years ago, I don't. First of all, I don't care about it now. Don't want to hear it. And I'm not here to please you. Get out of
yeah,
here. I wouldn't even have, like you said, I wouldn't even be in contact with that brother or the moms. Like,
yeah. We'd be done. That's crazy. That's crazy. Um, um,
infuriating is what it is.
yeah. This is when people end up on Snap, as I said. This is
Yo,
a valid reason to end up on Snap. I think she did well considering, because I don't know if I would be that calm. I mean, that's a lot. It's one thing
yeah,
to have like other people do stuff, but family,
that's
that's a
different.
very different thing. I feel like that is very evil. Like you're supposed to
Yeah, it's a different type
protect
of
your child,
betrayal.
you protect your younger sibling. At least that's how I am with like my kids and
Yeah.
how I'm with my siblings. It's like I'm the oldest
Mm-hmm.
one, and I'm like, well, I am the smallest of mine. I'm the oldest, so it's always like I'm like very protective. Like
Right.
who did what? Like I'm ready. I it's unfortunate,
It's sad.
but that's crazy.
Sad.
I don't think anybody in any of these stories was any asshole.
Not at all.
I think this was definitely you
Let
know
me tell you something. The people in these stories could have decided to be an asshole, and got some type of revenge, and then they still wouldn't have been an ass. That's how crazy these stories were. Like I would have took it very far if I was some of these people. So no, they're actually decent citizens. Some of them are better people than me because I would have took it far.
yeah, no, that's man. But we have finished our stories for the week. This is an interesting first episode. I know.
Yo, these
I
stories,
probably should have read that last one a little bit longer. I already read like the first half, and I was like, all right, this might be good. I didn't realize it was gonna
right?
be that serious. But again, I hope she's doing well. I really do. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
hope
Me
all of them are
too.
doing well, honestly, because like all of them, like girlies.
Yeah,
I hope you're thriving. I hope you're thriving. Yes.
definitely.
This was fun though. I
I
did like.
do like this. I do enjoy this. So looking forward to next time.
Yes, yes, yes. You tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me at Haevyn_Rain on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. Soon again on YouTube, but don't check that yet. Don't check that right now. But mostly Instagram. That's where I spend most of my time. I didn't know I can put that there on the little name. I would have did that.
I always like to be fair, this is probably the first time I've done it. I normally just have Katrina.
Oh.
And then I was like, you know what, whatever. Like, let's get that together for once. I'm never on it, to be fair.
Well, I'm learning from you. So next time I will do that.
But as for me, I am on most social media platforms, if not all of them. In Cat We Trust, everything is an E instead of a 3, except for Facebook. And I want to say, I think Twitch is normal, but everything else E is a 3. Oh, and YouTube. YouTube is actually normal. It's just in Cat We Trust. But everything else E is a 3 as it's there on the name. And we will catch you guys next time. Bye,
Yes.
guys.
Laters.